So this is Masterclass Lesson 16, how to deal damage to a leader. Specifically, a leader that requires 4 or less life in order to awaken. So it's more of just like a line of play that you should do when you go up against a leader that has a specific criteria of life to awaken. Like if they need 4 life to awaken, right? Or they need 3 or 2 life to awaken. How you should deal with it. Now this is specifically just for a leader that requires 4 or less to awaken. I think so, because as you can see, let me start playing the video. As you can see, my opponent starts off with a starter coup, but then I thought my opponent flipped their leader over to show me what their leader does. This has been sped up, so I have to pause it for a second so I can talk, because it's just gonna go through a bunch of stuff. But and then now seeing it again, I'm like, oh yeah, he did start off with starter coup. I thought he was just flipping his leader over to show me something and then flipped it back. Oh, it didn't flip it back. But then after a while, I realized that, okay, this is the front side of the leader, not the back side. So I'm not really dueling my opponent, obviously. This is just content, using my Card Games TV, account, because that's what I use when I'm making content, especially for this video. So this is just one duel that I'm hoping that I get what I want out of it, which I did, which is for this content in this video. So I'm really not paying attention too much to what my opponent is doing, but seeing the duel again, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, he started off with starter coup and then he went to this. He did start off with the yo, so that right there, is something you normally say to somebody not some random stranger. Normally you say that to somebody I don't know this person, but this person is of course aware of who I am. So this already seems suspect. And then switching your leader right off the bat, that's also suspect, but whatever, I don't care. I'm just here just to make this content. So I was able to do what I wanted to do for this video, which is about showing the idea of dealing damage to the leader, especially if the leader awakens when they have 4 or less. So you want to deal them damage. Let me start playing. So of course, do a little bit of mulligan real quick. Kept the ultimate in my hand just in case I can use it. And if I end up using it to win, so be it. Get that extra turn for game. But so I'm holding on to it. Since there's only 1 copy, and I doubt I will ever draw it later on, right? So it's always a good card to keep. But the goal is to do 3 damage to bring your opponent down to 5, right? Since they awaken at 4, you don't want to get them down to 4 because then they could just awaken. Get them down to 5. Then after that, you want to do triple strike. You want to deal them 3. So the way you could do that is 1 damage, right? Then 2 damage. So a single strike, double strike, then triple strike. So 1, 2, 3. That adds up to 6. So as you can see, I'm drawing, comboing, trying to try and get some ramp. I don't need it. I only need 1 ramp. I don't need it desperately or anything, especially considering the fact that it's obvious what he's playing. Realizing yeah, this is clearly dredge coup. Nothing special here. The only good stuff will be this right here, right? This basic ass play, rebrand, nothing special. So of course I'm like, all right, drop some unisons because I don't need them. The goal is for me to deal damage, single strike, double strike, and triple strike, or at least deal 3 damage and then triple strike, whichever way you can set it up. 2 triple strikes is nice, triple strike, right, to get your opponent down to 5, then another triple strike to get them down to 2. So the idea is get them down to 5 and then triple strike. So that's what I'm trying to get. And as you can see, I draw, I combo just to see if I can get that ramp. He, super combos, so he was able to get out of that. Swing with the, unisons. Untap, swing, so I was able to deal damage. So if I'm right, I get him down to 6. So now we're both at 6. Remember, the goal is to try to get him down to 5. So I'm already 1 damage away from my goal of setting it up for triple strike. He takes down that. I don't need that. It already did its job of getting my unison out. Next turn I could just hard cast my unison without her, so I don't need her. She already did her job. So he could have been attacking me, but instead he's just wasting attacks on all these other cards, which is fine with me. I love it when they do that. So of course, don't need the unison. Going in. Now I could have just went straight to the leader, but the goal is for me to hit the leader with a triple strike. And as you can see, I have the ability to do the triple strike play this turn. Considering the fact that he is out. But here's the thing though. My triple strike doesn't have barrier, so of course this is a charismatic villain scenario. It's like, okay, I gotta get rid of the unison, even though I'd rather ignore it. I gotta get rid of the unison. So you see I'm doing the unison play thing, you know, doing the plussing, because remember he did make me -2, so bang, I recover, bang, there. That rebrand didn't mean shit. And now I'm going in, you know, taking down the unison. So he's gonna have to spend another 3 to play another unison in order for him to have his charismatic villain up and at him, because who doesn't have charismatic villain in their green deck, right? So you can see I could have done some Abuni play, but didn't. So I finally got the ramp. So there's the ramp. So that makes up for the loss of Majin to fire. So I got the ramp, and all I ever really need is just one ramp with this leader anyway. I never need more than one. Because right now I'm one turn away from playing Vegeta, which is my main ramp. It's always the main ramp. So once I get him out there, you know, I got more than enough energy to do some good stuff. Of course, here goes another rebrand play. But since I did plus, you know, it mitigates, you know, that. Because I would have lost 4 if it wasn't for the fact that I'm, you know, +2. Because I +2 from the first unison and 2 from the next one. Now, if I didn't charge my unison, by the way. But remember, I'm trying to play my my triple strike, which is my King Vegeta, which is why I put the unison in the energy area when I could have saved it, and it would have been nice to have the ability to use it, you know, to play it, you know, +2, you know, that kind of stuff. Of course, with the fact that right here, I'm getting 4 energy. I could go, you know, obviously the Abuni place. I can go wide. Of course, he has 1 green plus the blocker, so it's like he could charismatic villain. But right here is the goal is he's at 5, and I'm trying to triple strike. So I'm going for the triple strike play. And if he does have dormant potential, see, I'm popping his, well, actually bouncing that to his hand because obviously there's a blocker going. If he has dormant potential, you know, it's not going to stop this attack, which is what I'm counting on, which is why I attack with it immediately. And the goal was to take him down to 2. So now he's at 2. Now he did dormant potential. So see, he did have it. So he did have it. Going in for some more ramp. This wasn't even necessary. You know, realistically, if I was actually playing against my opponent, I would have, you know, kept that because there's no need. I'm more than ramped enough. I didn't need that to get rid of that Abuni. I should have saved it because that would have been a nice extra play later on. So you'll see if I did keep the Abuni, you know, what would have happened. This was a decent play. I mean, it's the best play you can do because without this, he wasn't going to do much of anything. So now he gets to do a little something. A little bit earlier, this gameplay went pretty fast. You didn't see that he, when I started attacking his unison, he thought it was the Migra, so he started taking a life, but then he put the life back and stuff. It's like, nah, it's not. It's clearly not the Migra. So now he's, you know, hit my hand, you see. So I got all this power, but I'm losing it. But my hand would have been far worse if it wasn't for my unison. You know, if it wasn't for the good cards in my deck, no charge. And I'm now. I was thinking. I was debating. I was thinking like, nah, let me not just play the field card. You know, tragedy overground, right? Let me go into you know, my golden 8 play. But I was like, nah. I already got what I wanted. I was actually gonna you know, scoop once I hit the 3 damage with the King Vegeta. I have no reason to continue the duel other than the fact that I didn't want to waste my opponents because he's probably here like play testing or something. So I don't want to waste their time. They obviously want to play, so much so that, you know, they changed their leader. So, you know, playing the game out. As we can see, you know, clearly I got triple strike in my hand, 30k triple strike that I could have used, but I didn't. I was thinking like, you know, if I awaken first, swing, and then he's like, you know, does you know, some type of counter play, then I can just counter, or, you know, some counter attack, right? You know, dormant potential. See, there's the charismatic villains. Look all those charismatic villains. Look at all them villains. So yeah, so you see, I was able to predict his plays. GG. Then, yeah. Of course, he's trying to disrespect me, and this is where the bullshit goes. Where it's like, yeah, I'm not stupid. I'm clearly aware that you're here for some attention. I'm here just for content, and I got what I wanted. That's all that mattered. Whoever this person is. And I did what I came here to do. Everything else didn't matter. So that was awesome, though. I was able, you know, the duel was fun nonetheless, you know, but man, people always gotta ruin things. Can never just, you know, it's like you won, yeah, be happy. Technically, you should have won sooner, because it was weird that you brought out 30k double strike, which was the Lord Slug, but didn't swing with it. I was expecting to take damage, you know. You had the advantage in that situation, but didn't take advantage of it. So it was like, okay, whatever. I already did what I wanted to do. Everything else after that didn't matter. But, and then it's just funny, the idea of somebody want to be disrespectful, like, oh, your deck's trash, and it's like, don't remember you doing anything impressive, and I was clearly holding back. I brought you down to one life. That can't be that bad if I brought you down to one life, and I wasn't even trying. I was clearly holding back. I could have been just swinging away with the unison, and won just with unisons alone. But oh well. And that's the end of the video. Want to make sure, get the main, you know, the points right, which is you want to deal 1 damage, right? Then 2 damage, so single strike, double strike, and then triple strike. Now, if you can do single strike, double strike, and those are crit, which is even better, because that's just less cards in the hands, right? And then go for the triple strike. If you could do triple strike crit, that's also awesome, right? All your damage should always be crit. That reminds me that I am going to be making like a deck profile of a crit deck. It's been a long while since I made a deck where everything was crit. We have a lot of new good crit cards, so I want to make a new critical crit deck. But yeah, you know, damage, and once you get your opponent down to 5, you know, take them down to 3. Now let's say your opponent awakens at 3 damage. Well, then clearly you deal them 4 damage, which will be essentially 2 double strikes, or single strike, then double strike, or double strike, single strike. You know, it doesn't matter. It's just as long, or you always want to deal more than less, right? You don't want to do 4 single strikes. You definitely don't want to do, definitely don't want to do 8 single strikes. That's slow as hell to try to beat your opponent. But as you can see, that I was able to showcase. Let me go back a little bit. Sorry about that. Just to go back a little bit, because where did I? Because of course this is what I did the play. You see my opponent's at 5, so the idea was just get the triple strike out there, so that we can see the triple striker. You know, it's just the idea is like, go in. They got 5. Go in, hit the 3, because they'll still be at 10k. You know, they'll still be on the front side. And that's the best time to hit them. You want to hit them hard. If you could quadruple strike, even better, right? But you definitely want to be able to hit them at that point. But if they require 3 or less to awaken, then you hit them. You know, obviously after, you know, you hit them to, you know, deal them 4, which can be a single strike and a triple strike. So that's 4, which means you need to deal 1 more damage in order for them to be able to awaken. But at that point, that's when you want to hit them hard. But if you triple strike right there and then, that's even nicer, because then that brings them down to 1. Ultimately, your goal is always to get your opponent down to 2 or 1 life, and then finish the game. So make sure you have a strategy to, clutch it in, right? Some burn damage. Because imagine if I had what's her name in here, Android 21 in this build. This is like the triple strike, Vegeta deck and stuff. But if this had blue green in it, had Android 21, then yeah, I could have just finished them off with just that, triple strike them and then bam, burn them off with Android 21. So like burn damage or any way of finishing your opponent off. I mean, something as simple as if you play red blue, for example, red blue energy, catastrophic blow. You just gotta have no battle cards and bang, pay 5. Deal them 1 damage, finish them off, or some other cards that might have some burn effects. Always looking for that finish, right? I always like the idea of looking for burn finishers, specifically burn finishers that can do at least 2. 2 is the best. That's the sweet spot right there, because it's so easy to deal 6 damage. I've been preaching that for the longest. It's easy to deal 6 damage. Getting that last 2 damage tends to be the hardest. But with this strategy, as you can see, you can get your opponent down to 2, and doing the 1, 2, and 3. So that's all I wanted to do. That's what this video is all about. It's just showing that strategy. Go implement it. Find ways to incorporate, triple strike into your decks and whatnot. And that's all this is about. That's the end of the video.